Hi guys, welcome back to Sip Society, the Sober Diaries. I am going to talk about things that suck in sobriety because I want to be honest. I don't want all my videos just to be positive and talking about how much sobriety is amazing because sure, it is amazing, but there are things that suck as well. So I'm going to get into those things. Some things that suck in early sobriety are going to the beach, sitting on the deck, weekends, long weekends, hanging out with friends, sitting on my couch, watching a movie, the evening. If you were a daytime drinker, the daytime, waking up, going to sleep, going to a music festival, going to sit on a patio, going to a restaurant, going to the park. Everything sucks in early sobriety. But it doesn't stay that way. So don't worry. It does get better. You will stop associating all these things that you used to do drinking with alcohol. You're not going to associate those things anymore with alcohol. So I promise you it gets better the further you get into sobriety. But I wanted to more seriously go over a few things that do suck in sobriety. One of them being sitting in your emotions. You can no longer numb yourself for the way you're feeling. So if you're having a bad day at work, if you're feeling sad, if something happens in your family or to a pet, or for example, 3 months into my sobriety, I had to put my cat down. Maybe you go through a breakup, maybe you just, like I said, had a bad day at work. You have to sit in those emotions. You can't go to the bottle to numb how you're feeling, to get through it. You just need to feel it, and you need to cry it out, or, maybe do a walk or a workout or whatever it is you do when you're not feeling good. You need to feel it out. And that is the worst part, I think, is that. It does get easier over time, though, because the more you practice this when you're having a bad day and whatnot, the more easier it's going to get, because you're no longer going to use alcohol as a coping mechanism. So if I have a bad day at work now, I don't think about grabbing a drink because I know that I have other things that I can do to make me feel better now. Drinking isn't something that is in my toolbox anymore for those situations. So yeah, sitting in your emotions sucks, but it gets better over time with practice. Another thing that really sucked in early sobriety was morning alcohol. When I was thinking about giving up alcohol, I felt like alcohol was my best friend and I was going to be going through a breakup with it. I did not want to stop drinking. I did so badly, and I didn't at the same time. I wanted to continue the party. I wanted to continue my nighttime drinking because it was such a habit of mine that I didn't want to give it up. And I really had to mourn the loss of it. I did that for a couple years. While I was still drinking, I was already kind of going through the grieving of it, and knowing I was going to have to give it up because of how depressed I was and not mentally well. So I knew it was something I was going to have to give up, and I was really mourning that and grieving that. And it's okay. You're going to get past that, and eventually you're just going to kind of forget that you ever, it was even your best friend kind of thing. I cried and cried and cried in my first month of sobriety, basically every night, until one day I wasn't crying anymore. So it's okay. It's a normal part of the process, and it's not going to be like that forever. You're not going to be grieving alcohol forever. Sure, you might go to, maybe down the road after your morning period, you might go to a get together and kind of have a little bit of FOMO maybe because you can't drink, and the grieving process might go up and down a little bit, but it doesn't stay as bad as it was in the beginning. But that's like any grief. If you lose someone in your life or whatever, it's not linear. So just know it does get better. I'm going to say that a lot on this channel. It gets better because it does. It sounds so cliche, but it really does. So yeah, just continue to grieve it. It's a weird concept that you are grieving a drink, but it's normal. We all go through it. Another thing that sucks in early sobriety, I feel like this one's obvious, cravings. They suck. Yeah, they suck hard. I personally went on medication for cravings, and it helped a lot, like a lot. I couldn't even get 24 hours together without going on this prescription, but not everyone wants to go that route, and that's okay. You can push through with, meetings or community or whatever it is that you're using in your early sobriety. And you can get through those cravings until they're non-existent anymore. They won't ever be 100% non-existent. I think this is something we will battle for the rest of our lives, but they lessen. So just know that I'm no longer on a prescription anymore, and I don't get my nightly cravings or anything like that. Very rarely, like, I'll get triggered and then maybe a craving sets in, but it's nothing I can't get past. Nothing I can't get through. I mean, I've come a long way, and it's not like I'm sitting on the couch at night craving alcohol anymore. But in the beginning, they do suck. They do suck. So those are a few things that do suck in sobriety. If you can think of any other ones that you want to comment below, please feel free. I would love to talk about it. Other than that, the good outweighs the bad, and that is why I'm continuing to do this. That is why everyone that ever got sober is continuing to do it. Like, no one would keep doing it if it didn't get easier and if it wasn't better. So while there are things that suck in sobriety, the good outweighs the bad. So keep pushing if you're in early sobriety, and reach out to a friend. You can reach out to me on Instagram if you want. And we can talk through anything that, is tough in early sobriety. You got this, and here is to another 24 hours sober.